Well, hello and welcome to our webinar today on how to choose the right MBA or Master of Laws program. It's great to see so many of you out there today. My name is Anna Patterson and I've been working at the university actually for a decade. And so I have a lot of experience talking to students, talking to potential students, and together with some of my colleagues, I've put together a presentation that I'd like to share with you today. So the way today will work, over your lunch break, I'll give a presentation of around 20 minutes. And in this time, you can ask your questions in the chat box, and I can integrate these questions as I go along. And then after the 20 minutes are up, I would open the floor to questions as well from you, and we could have a short Q&A session. If you have to leave after the presentation, feel free to go. I know a lot of you are busy today, so all right, then let's get started with this presentation. So we have put together an acronym for how to choose the right program. It's called BASICS. B in the BASICS stands for branding. The A is for accreditations. S, selectivity. Now comes the I, internationalization. Check out the curriculum and look for satisfaction factors that you can observe. So remember these criteria when you're looking at different programs so that you can basically choose the right program for you. So let's take a look at this in detail. What is B branding all about? Well, the Vienna University of Economics and Business has a large brand. It's actually one of the leading business universities in Europe, and it's made up of 4 different sectors: graduate school, undergraduate school, competence centers, and then the VU Executive Academy. So at the end of the day, when you graduate with a degree from the Vienna University of Economics and Business, potential employers will be able to recognize the university. And this is only helping you in the job market. It makes a big difference than if you were to get an MBA degree from a small unknown business school where people can't really gauge the quality of the program. So these are just some external factors you can look at. Another part of quality though and branding are measurable, and these are based on rankings and accreditations. So in the past, we've been, our programs have been in several different types of rankings. From the Financial Times, we're 34th worldwide, but also we have smaller types of rankings. The Economist has ranked our Executive MBA program 46th worldwide. The QS Global Executive MBA program ranks MBAs as well, and we're 15th worldwide. And finally, the Ziarul Financiar is a newspaper in Romania, has ranked our program as well in Romania as the 2nd best executive program. So these are just external factors that you can look at when you're measuring and comparing different programs. And let's take a look now in detail about accreditations, because these make a big factor in defining the quality of what's backing up your experience. So accreditations basically mean that a university or an MBA provider has to do their homework. They're going to get reevaluated on sometimes a biannual basis. Sometimes it takes 4 years for one of these accreditation bodies to come back. But in the meantime, they have to fulfill certain requirements and improve on their programs and show that they've improved. And for instance, we've had to react to student feedback and provide how we reacted to the accreditation organizations. And so we're a member of 3 large accreditations. EQUIUS is European-based, AACSB is North American-based, and the AMBA, the Association of MBAs, is from the UK. And it's really great to have all 3. It's actually less than 100 universities roughly worldwide have all 3 accreditations. So it's a small, nice group to be part of, I would say, that also lifts your MBA or your law program to a higher level. of exclusivity. You can also check out if the university is involved in certain networks. As the university here is very large, it is part of different networks. So remember the basics and you'll select the right program. All right, so our next letter of the acronym is selectivity. And you want to check this out when you're also researching your programs. So look at the class group of peers. Get in touch with the academic directors. Get in touch with the program managers and ask them for statistics. Ask them to share about these types of people let into their programs, because who you're sitting next to is going to make a huge impact in the 16 or 20 months that you have of this program. So for instance, in our programs, we have a lot of people who are have a lot of work experience. They come with 11 to 15 years on average. They also come with leadership experience, and a large part of the group is international. I'll come to that later though. And you're going to be learning a lot from your group. So is it a selective group, a selective peer group that you're getting into? Take that as a large thing to consider when you're looking at and considering different programs. So now I'd like to move on to the internationality. Internationalization is also a factor that can influence how you find a program that's right for you. If an international experience is something you prioritize, then choose carefully where you do your program. So I know a friend of mine who's done a program in Southeast Asia. This is probably really great for him, but he also was basically with a lot of local participants, and he and a handful of other people, about 10%, were making up the international part of the group. So it's going to just maybe throw an imbalance in the general MBA experience if you're with a huge amount of nationals, if this is something important for you, if you want the international flair. So ask again for basically statistics on that. We have 70%, for instance, in our English language programs. And of course, in the German language programs, it's going to be limited to about 5% international, 10% internationals coming from Switzerland and Germany who speak German. But also the faculty can also bring in a little bit of an international flair, or a lot of international flair to say, based on where they're researching, where they're working, where they're holding lectures full-time. So our lecturers are coming from a range of countries. We have, for instance, Spain often represented. We have the USA strongly represented in our Global Executive MBA program, because it's a dual degree program with the University of Minnesota, Carlson School of Management. Then we have other universities in the US represented. We have the Indian School of Business in India, and we have French universities as well. So you can be sure you're getting basically a very international experience if this is something you're looking for, and it can help to ask for statistics to back that up. When you're looking at the internationality, another thing that can help is seeing how international the alumni are and where their jobs are, where they're working. So we have an international alumni community that's going to be providing you services as well. Just a side note, since when you starting on day one, you'll get career services, you'll get a huge community to connect with managers from over 85 countries, and you'll get access to a lot of cool new content. In addition to the MBA, there'll be panel discussions, guest speaker events, and workshops. And so it's a good thing to look into, to consider when you do an MBA. I have to think back to our applications, and actually the second biggest reason why people apply for our programs is to do a career change. So it makes sense to look into, are there career services involved, if that's one of your motivating goals to do an MBA or a law program. And maybe you're asking yourself at this point, what's the first thing they're looking into? Well, knowledge acquisition is the #1 reason that people give on their applications. Another thing that you might be interested in is study trips. So we have study trips abroad. You can go on locations all over the world. Here is basically an excerpt of where we've taken our students in the past. They actually just got back last month from Kenya and had a very cool 1-week trip there, working with startup firms and talking about investments and capital, and it was very enriching. But our students are also traveling to Boston and Harvard, to Silicon Valley, to Helsinki, China and India. It's a very flexible portfolio right now, just because we work with the times, but the students go on these international trips so that they get really hands-on knowledge of how, for instance, business is impacting the local economy at this area. So for instance, developing economies or transitioning economies in Argentina will be compared to another economy in Brazil, or it goes on like this. And that's the idea behind an international residency, is that you see things outside of the classroom in a different light. So moving on now, when you're doing an MBA research or research for your law program, I'm sure most of you are also looking at the contents of the program. So curriculum, that should be definitely something you're focusing on when you're looking and researching, and where you can focus, what types of keywords you can look for. Do you have programs that have a learning on the project approach? Are they project oriented, or some say case study oriented? Because MBA programs and law programs are designed to be practical and very hands-on. And if this is important to you to have that, you should definitely be asking those questions. It's a little bit different than a Master of Science program, which is allowed to be a little more academic, but not at the MBA level. So in our programs, projects are drawn from your own professional practices and then intensified with the theory that you've learned, and you apply basically. And we also invite different guest speakers to come to our courses, and in the evenings they hold lectures, so you can get real insights from managers in different industries on how they're seeing things. And then you can basically see them as a sparring partner for the topic of your module. And here are just some photos below of our project vernissage that we had regularly. And actually last Friday was one of the vernissages again for our MBA project management program. And it's also very hands-on. And to the right is a company visit that they went to in the past. So I would say another criteria to look at, and the final criteria, is actually satisfaction. This can be measured in different ways, but you can also get it bilaterally by talking to alumni. You can really hear their opinions on the program. And every MBA or law LLM provider should give you access to past students, and you can really then get real insights into how they saw the program. So I'll just show you a quick, we also do, for instance, qualitative surveys regularly with our alumni base, and we ask them, okay, how did you see the return on investment? What did the MBA and law program bring you? And we gathered this together here on this slide. It basically brought them career changes, personal development, higher earnings, and a level of self-fulfillment that they haven't experienced before. And I've brought below some examples or some more statistics on this. For instance, in the career change area, over 75% of our students make a positive career move within 3 years of graduation. I mean, this can be happening right away, but also a bit later. Students move to new companies, 37%. Other ones move up in their companies and get new responsibilities. And 12% of these alumni who responded to our survey actually started a business. And we're real proud of that as well, because it takes a lot of guts to start a business. So as far as personal development go, we have a lot of alumni being promoted to new leadership positions. For instance, 47% get promoted, of course, to new positions, and nearly 50% get new responsibilities with this job. And we asked them also how many get C-level positions, so chief executive officer, chief financial officer, and so on. And it's 84% higher than before the academic degree. So if you want to make that development in that change, you can, and take on more responsibilities. We know that it's an investment, so of course, what's the return? About 30% increase in your salary is what alumni reported can be expected. This was very nice to hear. I think for the Central and European community, it's about 34% higher earnings, but overall it's 30% on average for all the MBA and law programs. Now we have also, of course, the statistics that for 59% of alumni, the new career move resulted in higher earnings. And we also have a new statistic from the Financial Times ranking, where they are specifically asking global executive MBA alumni, how did your salary develop? And it actually showed a 64% increase in salary. So it's different changes, but you can expect it to go up. And finally, I find this one of the nicest areas to talk about self-fulfillment surprises that come with the program. So the MBA programs and the LLM programs is a time of transformation. And many of the alumni reported that afterwards, they were feeling a lot more confident on the job, and also more talented in what they did, and talented with speaking with their team and their colleagues. So several of them do different functions in parallel to their job, and they become independent advisors, but also advisory board members. Kerstin Knapp is a global executive MBA alumni. For instance, she became a advisory board member on, I believe, the Paralympic Committee, and this was a big dream of her. So you can find her career story on our website if you're interested. And it can bring a lot of change to you, and that's something to look for, to ask for statistics on satisfaction. How satisfied are the alumni? What are their stories? How did their careers develop? And what can you get out of it? So I'm coming to the end of my 20-minute presentation as promised, and be looking forward to having your questions. Remember, everyone, to think about these criteria. When you're searching for that MBA or that law program, look at aspects about how the degree is going to be branded. What types of accreditations does this university have? And the rankings that the programs may be in. How selective is the student peer group? How international is the experience going to be? Also, how is the curriculum designed, and what is entailed in the curriculum? And finally, how satisfied were the students who did these programs? And if you need any help in these areas, feel free to contact me. Before I provide my email address, just many should have it, but 2 more tips. We can set up a consultation session if you would like help in choosing between 2 or 3 programs you're not sure. but also you can use an online program finder that we have. These are just some tools to help you. So reach out and I'd be happy to help. But now I'd be happy also to take your questions. So feel free to reach out and ask your questions. Thank you. So I'm opening the chat right now and take a look to see who would like to post our questions today. We have a great audience. I like it. It's very international, at least from your names. So that's great to hear. The first question coming in is about the prices. Yes, so these were quickly shown, the programs on the screen. Our law programs are running around 22,000 euros, and the MBA programs are running between 19,900 euros to 54,000 euros. So I hope that is answering your questions. We also have a question, a hand raised from Eduardo. So please, Eduardo, what would you like to ask?
Hi, how you doing? I have a couple of quick questions. The first question is, okay, you showed a lot of insightful numbers about the alumni. I'm going through the different levels of hierarchy in an organization, which is great. My question to you is, are those companies in the German job market, let's say German understanding of Germany and Austria? And the second question I have is, does the school or the business school offers German business lessons?
Mm-hmm. Okay, great question. So the statistics on career changes and where the people changed careers are not just based in Austria or Germany, but they're based on all of our alumni, so which are located in 85 different countries. Mainly our students do live in Central and Eastern Europe. This is like a base in Europe is where our students and alumni live, but we have some in the United States, in Brazil. And so these job changes reflect then their locations. And the second question is, we as a university do offer German language courses. It's, however, a separate department from the Executive Academy, and it might be a little bit, of a time constriction to do the German language courses. As far as I know, are weekly, and our programs are about every 4 to 6 weeks. So you might be flying into Vienna. It depends on where you live, but our programs are on a different time schedule than the German courses, but of course it's possible to do it too.
Okay, but the thing is, I mean, I'm looking at the professional MBA, and it says down the bottom, English and German, or English or German. So what?
Okay, yes. So we have English and German. Let me go to the next slide, because these specializations are taught in German only, healthcare management.
Okay.
And the specializations taught in English are these 7 specializations. And so we have programs taught in different languages to reach different communities. Does that answer your questions?
Yes, thanks.
Great. All right, thank you for your question. Keep them coming in, guys. This is great. I just saw a question that also was asked, what's the difference? Can I elaborate that on differences between MBAs and professional MBAs? So let me just share with you the Executive MBA versus the professional MBA program. An executive MBA program is definitely going to be designed for someone with leadership experience. So on the one hand, it's a different profile of a person, but at the other hand, it's the same type of, it's also the desire of the applicant, where they want to go with their career. Do they want to have an executive MBA, which is a general management from top to bottom, that's very focused on general management and leadership? Or are they looking to do management and general management and leadership for half the program, but then specialize in an area during that time? Because this is what allows the professional MBA you to do. You can professionalize your skills in a certain area, like on the slide after that I showed you, in energy management, in the digital transformation of businesses. If you say, yeah, I want to be a pioneer in that area, let me do an MBA that's specialized on digital transformation. And then I get that skill set along with my general management MBA degree. So that's it in a nutshell. Our global executive MBA programs are based in Vienna and Bucharest, and they're a little bit shorter. The student group is a little bit more experienced, 37 years old on average, where a professional MBA student is going to be about 34 years old on average. So some slight differences, and a big main difference is where they want their careers to develop. But that doesn't mean if you do a professional MBA in, for instance, finance, which we have, that you cannot become a chief financial officer. We do these programs and see many of our students moving up as well. So I hope that answered your question, Elle. If not, just type me another one in the post box. And I see Modhar has his hand raised. Modhar, what's your question?
Anna, how are you? This is Modhar from Iraq.
Thank you. I'm doing great.
Great. So my question is, actually, I'm having a difficulty to decide between choosing two programs. The first one is the sales and marketing. As my career background, mostly it was in sales and marketing, a little bit in technical, but at the same time, I have a education background in computer science and software development and stuff like that. So I don't know if the choosing the program depends on the background knowledge besides the application, and on the real ground. This is one of the areas I should use to choose, or I can simply choose a new career path. Of course, this is my decision, but my dilemma actually, if I went with a digital transformation and data science, how am I going to apply these new knowledge? Especially, it is not very like day-to-day work experience. This is my question. I hope it's clear. It's a little bit complicated, but you know, this is why I'm confused.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, if I understood you right, it depends. Like, first of all, you want to know if you have to have a certain prerequisite to get into a specialization. Well, it's for most of the programs, no. We look for students who are open to the fields of what it is, digital transformation or energy management, entrepreneurship and innovation, or finance. With the specialization of finance, though, we do, I know the academic team is looking for people with some finance experience of some sort, just so that the people don't feel completely lost. If you're, with regards to the other specialization, digital transformation and data science, I was asking a similar question and was told it's important to not be hesitant to work with numbers and to do data science number crunching. You won't need to have programming experience. That's not required, but it will be rather technical. But take this with a grain of salt, because we are a management institution. So all our programs are coming with with the content seen from a manager's perspective. So we're training managers to speak the language of digital transformation or data science or marketing and sales that they may not have heard yet. And it's okay, therefore, that they do not have the experience. If I wanted to become a data science professional, I should actually go do an entire, bachelor master program in data science to really become a sheer expert in that area. But at this level, at the MBA level, I'm looking to become a manager who can speak that language so that I can talk to the programmers in my team. I can lead a team in this subject matter, and I can do it right. And that's the framework where we work with. So I think if you're coming from the background that you had, I think you would be a good fit for digital transformation, even if your professional expertise is in marketing and sales. But I think your career passion is, and even your university background was in the digital transformation scene. I think this is then great and very appropriate as well. So does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you, Raj. This is mostly, but it's just a small part of small bit. If of course, will be related to like new job applications. But if I wanted to have it to do it as a consultancy or something like that, alumni will be eligible to do that on the side of my job or something like that.
The program is mainly on campus. So we have some modules that are online, but it's mainly
so this is not my question. I mean, my question, to put it clearly, how am I going to apply the new knowledge if it is not related to my job? Can I do something on the side related like to consulting, even something for free, maybe something the school can help me with?
Yes, if you're looking to, start up yourself as a consultant in a certain area and you've done this specialized MBA, then you can definitely take what you've learned and decide to then help advise companies who are looking to digitalize their processes. In that case, we definitely can set you up with somebody who can give you career advice. We have many alumni who've become consultants or are consultants. And then it would be up to you to just take up your learnings from your textbooks, decide, okay, for instance, you're in Iraq, what is what I've learned most critical for my region, or what could be new to the people in my profession in this area, and that would be your unique offer, what you can offer the area, and that's how you could get started. So, but great question.
Yes, thank you.
Then,
well, actually, the explanation was wonderful, terrific. Thank you, Anna.
Great to hear. Thanks for your question. So I'm going to look back at the chat. I see that Eugenia also wrote a question. Let me see. So you mentioned that alumni often start the business. I'm interested in starting a biotech company, but our team would need to gain more expertise in business development as soon as possible. So learning practical skills would be essential. Would you recommend the MBA, Entrepreneurship and Innovation, or the Professional Master Program in Sustainability, Entrepreneurship, and Technology? And what would be the most efficient in your opinion? Well, I would say in this case, it's a different format. If you're looking for getting the real inputs hands-on, I would say the MBA in Entrepreneurship and Innovation is going to really help lift your development to a higher speed because you're not only doing some of the content online, but you're meeting people regularly every 6 weeks. In the professional MBA format, that's the normal modus, where you come to campus every 4 to 6 weeks for 4 days. And in the other program, this Professional Master Program, Sustainability, Entrepreneurship, and Technology, it's an online only format. And yeah, you can definitely charge up your development, but it's going to be limited to this virtual format. So it can be a preferential thing, but probably it's up to you to sense how you need to connect with the people best. And I think many of us can speak for me as well when I say, yeah, it really makes a difference to meet people in person. But great question. I hope this answered it, and we can also do a one-on-one and go into detail if you'd like. Just write me after this. So the next question I see coming in on our chat box from Eugene is, what's the average leadership experience in the mid-level management and C-level did the alumni have before they joined the programs? So I can answer how much the average leadership experience we had in the programs, because we asked this at admission. And in the Global Executive MBA program, it's going to be, let me go back to the slide so that I don't have to recall from memory. That could help. So here we are. In the Global Executive MBA, we have 9 years of leadership experience, and yes, in the Executive MBA Bucharest, 7 years of leadership experience on average for the last 3 cohorts. And the professional MBA students have around 3 years of work experience, leadership experience, excuse me, whereas the Master of Legal Studies students, LLM programs, have 5 years of leadership experience. And we did not ask for C-level statistics. Well, we do ask for that, but I don't have this at hand. I just know from a recent presentation I put together for our upcoming Global Executive MBA class, about 40% of the new class is going to be made up of top and middle managers. So this is the one statistic that I can have that's ready to go. Your second question, though, and I hope that helps. Which percent of alumni get most of their tuition fees financed by their employers in Vienna, Austria, or Germany? It's a great question. We've seen that the tendency is going down. I would say around a third of the students get a share of the tuition covered by companies, but I don't think it's close to 80% or 100%, but it's more like a share of it, a much lower range. Yeah, but this is the data that I have. And the rest of the students can get up support in different ways, of course. So we have scholarships available for people with financial need. We also have female leader scholarships. We have, payment by installments. I can go into that in detail, but to answer your question in a nutshell, it's around 1/3 of getting some type of support. And your third question is, the name of the Executive Academy and the Global MBA ranking. The MBA programs are not listed in the Financial Times Top 100. What improvement approach is VU planning in order to improve the rankings? Well, I'm actually not so certain about your question, because our program, the Global Executive MBA, is ranked in the top 100 Global Executive MBA programs worldwide at place 34. So this is probably a different ranking than the one you're approaching. And we're very happy to be up in the ranking in the top 34 schools worldwide. Based on general satisfaction of the students, we're actually number 7 worldwide. And to keep this top approach and top quality and top satisfaction, we are always looking at student feedback. And it sometimes happens that, we get some feedback that a professor was not the best. and we change out, you know, maybe some certain criteria. We try to solve what made it not so good. Was it perhaps had to do with the technical equipment the professor wasn't used to? Then we introduce a training program in advance. Right now I'm recording one digitally, for instance, for the professors. Is it something that we can fix? If it's not something we can fix, we change out the professors. If the course topic is something that students weren't happy with, this is something we also get in the feedback. So yeah, I've noticed that in the past 1 to 2 years, we've added negotiations management, for instance, in our Global Executive MBA program. So this is one way that we are taking, satisfaction very seriously and reacting to students' requests. So I hope this answers your questions. Keep them coming, guys. It's great. And I'm looking in the chat for our next question. So thank you, VKR. This person asks, how are the candidates' profiles between the MBA and the LLM different? Well, in general, I would say they're actually very similar. We are happy, of course, to see a larger percentage of females in our LLM programs. We're also happy to see the fact that these students come in with also the same amount of 13 great years of work experience, so they're very experienced. Of course, because the programs are, not so, we have more German language programs, so the international students is going to be a little bit lower because we have the program LLM law for executives taught solely in German, and the Masters of Business Law taught solely in German, geared towards lawyers. And so it's a different target group, I would say, that makes these LLM programs different. But we also have an LLM program, for instance, in the digitization of tax law. And this is a very diverse group of people who come from different business spheres, from legal spheres, and they're in a 12-month program wanting to learn how to digitize the tax law process. So they're going to be on the forefront of this development here, at least. Great question. So I'm moving on to the next question. It looks like I have a request that came up for a personal conversation. I would suggest that in this very specific question to reach out to me definitely, and we can do a one-on-one consultation and really look at your career status and your past career experience, and then find out where you want to take your career, and I can help you perhaps with those questions about which program is right for you in a Zoom call or something. And all right, so I would say that wraps it up for today's info session on how to choose an MBA or law program. And don't forget the basics. These acronyms are really helpful when you're going to be choosing a program. Check out the branding, the institution's accreditations, the selectivity of the class, internationalization factors, and the curriculum content, and also the satisfaction level. And reach out to me if you have any questions. I'd be happy to get in touch with you. Just going to type my email address in the chat so you have it. And yeah, looking forward to hearing from you all. Have a wonderful afternoon, and yeah, stay healthy, everyone. Bye-bye.